Hello all. I hope that you can hear me well. There is music playing in the background from a source I cannot discover, and there's a wind in the air, so I'm going to move a little closer actually to help with the sound. Hope you can see me as well. As you can probably see, the sun is shining so brightly. So here I am. Hello. The topic of today's video is my Kundalini awakening. Now, this is a term that a lot of the Western world is unaccustomed to. It's very common in the Hindu tradition, is where it's most commonly discussed and experienced among gurus, and through the transference of guru and discipleship energy, which is known as Shaktiput, wherein a guru awakens the Kundalini within the student. So, first off, what is Kundalini? What is this crazy word? It is, in simple terms, it is the energy that lies dormant at the base of everyone's spine, and it's in everyone. Like, every person on this planet has this potential within them that can be awakened purposefully or by accident, in my case. And it's just dormant energy, and it's kind of like dormant energy that's in your brain that can be unlocked the more you work with your brain and release chemicals and compounds, maybe without even knowing that you are. But this energy can become awakened, and when that happens, I thought there was an ant crawling on me. When that happens, you can feel this energy, which is described as prana or chi, which is life, another word for life force, or it's literally just energy. I mean, we're all made of energy. It's just another type of energy. Like how you can feel your body right now. You're aware of your body. This is another type of energy. It's like another type of dimensional energy. Like it's manifest, but it's not something you can see as like you can see a tree. It's energy in motion that you can see, but this energy is more just along the meridians of the body. And yeah, so my Kundalini was awakened in when was that? 2013. The fall of 2013 is when mine was awakened, which is about 3 years ago now, so that's something. But in my case, it happened as a result of a spontaneous experience that I was undergoing. For most people, they are told that they need to not awaken it purposefully because it can cause a lot of pain and issues and trauma, because your body may not be attuned to the frequencies which this energy, okay, now there is an ant on me, which this energy holds, and it can literally cause nervous and physical damage to your body, to your system, because it affects your neurology, your tissues, because it's present within your energy field, therefore it's affecting your body as well. And what happened for me is I experienced a loss of identity in the way that I was arrested for drugs, and in that night that this happened, it's like I just felt like I lost my entire future that I had in front of me, that I was expecting to undergo, that I just didn't know what I would do without. If I didn't have this future, then who was I? Like, who was I supposed to be without this? And it sounds like kind of dramatic, but it was very, very life altering in that I lost my identity, I lost who I was, and I began searching for something else, even though I wasn't sure what it was that I was searching for. And this led me to, of course, Google and and the endless information that is provided through Google. And I had meditated before this, not very extensively or very well, like maybe just a handful of times in the past half of a year. But then I started doing this research, and I found out what chakras were, and like all this spiritual terminology that I never even heard about before. And that's when I got introduced to yoga, and just like my entire life changed. My eye opened, I guess, and nothing was the same after that. But how it actually happened, like how it occurred, was I began meditating on my root chakra, because I read about like having to balance out your chakras in order to attain harmony and peace and all this stuff. And so I was at college, and I was just sitting in my dorm room and meditating on my root chakra, and I just did that for a few days, and I didn't really think anything about it. I was like, okay, I'm doing this, no big deal. And I was also feeling very sexual at the time, just like throughout the time that I began these chakra practices, because that's where a lot of the sexual energy in the body is stored, actually, at the root and sacral chakras, because it's a very primal instinct, even though it can be manifested in more higher planes of experience. It is a very primitive urge. So I was experiencing a lot of that, and the Kundalini energy itself is often known as the sexual force that is within us. Like, there's just so many ways to describe what Kundalini is, and so I think that's why I was feeling a lot of that at the time. But anyway, it was like maybe a week after I had started doing that, and I was just focusing on the root chakra, and I would wake up in the middle of the night for like 3 nights in a row, and it's like the base of my spine would be itching. I didn't really think anything about it. I was like, okay, whatever. And I also felt like there was this dark force in the room in the middle of the night when I would wake up, and I didn't know what that was. It freaked me out. And that was that. And then like a couple weeks later, I had left college by this point, and I was back at home where I grew up. And I was maybe like 2 or 3 weeks later, I was just lying in my bed at night, and I felt this energy come up from the base of my spine, and it hurt so bad. Like, it hurt really bad, and it only made it up to my sacral chakra. So I haven't had like a full out blown Kundalini awakening or anything. I have felt the different energy channels moving, the energy going up and down throughout the different nadis within my body, and going out and coming back in and all that. But when this first happened, it just went from the root to the sacral and then back down, and it was so painful. Like, I didn't know how to stop it, and I didn't know what it was. I had no idea what was happening, so it was pretty scary. And this was a time in my life where I was just like exploring all these things that I was unaccustomed to, that I never knew anything about. So I was researching a lot, and I was also getting into like astral traveling. So I was just, I think my sixth chakra, my Agna, was just incredibly unbalanced, and this was creating these unpleasant experiences. But the reason that pain was there whenever it first awakened is because those centers are not balanced either. So that represents like all the stuff that's stored in these chakras that ever since then basically I've been dealing with so that I don't have to deal with this pain. That's something I'm still dealing with now, but it's been 3 years so far, and this energy is something I feel every day all throughout my body. And whenever I am disharmonious in any of the chakras, it obviously creates physical disharmony in the body. So I've been undergoing a lot of health issues. Ooh. Okay. And just trying to figure out the root of where they're coming from is part of the process as well. So I can really just integrate this energy the best way as I can. And back to like the awakening itself and the fact that I didn't know what was happening, this is when the website Spiritual Forums really came in handy for me. That's where I found a plethora of information and true knowledge and help and support from people I didn't know that experienced similar things or knew that what I was going through and how to help me. And so I'm very appreciative of that and the fact that I found that. But it can be a very scary experience, like it definitely was for me, and it's something that I really haven't talked about with many people. Like, it's not something you can really just like bring up in conversation because most people don't know what it is and they'll just think you're crazy. Like, the people that I have talked to about it are normally experiencing the same thing. Like, as I've met people in person, I have many friends that experience the same thing. And that's like the best people to talk to about it, because otherwise there's just no way to relate or connect with someone that has no idea what you're talking about. So just be careful with who you speak about these things with, because you never know how they're going to take it. And that's also why I'm putting this out there. You may see other people talking about it on the internet, but it's not as widespread as it should be. Like, I think a lot more people are experiencing it randomly and spontaneously like I did. And it's a difficult process. Like, it's very psychological. It's very dark night of the soul-ish. Like, it never ends. It's like living a regular life, but you have this extra layer that you have to deal with and try to understand and comprehend and integrate into just a normal life, which can be next to impossible. So, but it is possible. It totally is possible. But I just wanted to put this information out there for anyone that may be seeking it or has questions about it or feels like they're the only one going through this craziness. You're not. You can definitely question your sanity. And just remember that no one is truly sane. Like, we're all a little bit wacky. We just pretend we're not. And you're not alone, ever. You're never alone. And just have faith in whatever you want to have faith in. Have peace in your heart, your mind, spirit. Even when you don't, it's still there. It's always reachable, attainable. Anything's possible. And just, I don't know, man. It's a crazy life. But this is the story of my Kundalini awakening. And thank you for watching. If you have any questions or want to connect about this, then leave a comment. And goodbye.